Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses as we continue with part 31, The Secret Commentary. Book 5, The Written Word of Kabalism, second period from the Doctrine and Literature of the Kabalah by Arthur Edward Waite. 9. The Secret Commentary. We know that Scott provided headings to very many chapters of his romances by pretended quotations from old plays which existed only in his imagination, and it occasionally happened that these mythical excerpts contained stronger lines than much of his acknowledged versecraft. Those who believe that Moses de Leon wrote the Zohar out of his own head will account in a similar manner for the manifold fragments of unknown treatises which are found only in that work. Of some of these, it may also be said that they are more interesting than the Zohar proper. As we have seen, the whole world of Kabalism has agreed to exalt the Book of Concealment over all the other discourses attributed to Simeon ben Yochai. But for the purposes of our present inquiry, it must be confessed that considerable interest attaches to the secret commentary. The extant fragments of this work are found in the Cremona edition at the following places, as seen here. The field which they cover is chiefly that of the destiny of souls, future punishments and rewards, the resurrection of the body, and the doctrine concerning angels and demons. The connection of the soul with the body and the perfection which is to come for both are the subjects of the following passage. Our Abba the ancient rose up upon his feet and said, "Rest and peace shall be thine, our Simeon ben Yochai, for thou hast brought back the crown, that is the Thorah." We have learned in the Mathnutha Kadmoa that because the higher soul Neshama dwells in its perfection in the upper place, that is, prior to birth, it has no desire towards the body, except to create from it other similar souls Neshamath. These come out of her, but she abides in her place. Thereupon, our Simeon ben Yochai stood up and explained, "If in this world which is vanity, into this body which is a fetid particle, the Neshama yet enters verily in the time to come, when all are made clean, when the body will be in the fullness of its perfection, the perfect Neshama will enter therein, in the world above." Our Archer also said, "This very soul and this very body, the Holy Blessed One, is prepared in the time to come to establish an eternal continuance, but both will be perfect in the perfection of knowledge, attaining to that which cannot be reached in this world." Occultists are accustomed to regard the reassumption of the same physical body by the progressed and glorified spirit as an unphilosophical and material doctrine. Not at all of that kind which we should expect to meet with in the Zohar. But it is there all the same, and we shall find it more fully developed in other passages. Before proceeding to these, let us see what happens to the soul at death. Our Isaac said, "At that time when the Neshama, having deserved it, ascends to her superior place, the body lies peacefully at rest in its bed. As it is written, he shall enter into peace. They shall rest in their beds, each one walking in his uprightness." Isaiah 57:2. What does this mean? Walking in uprightness. Our Isaac said, "The Neshama goes straight to the place prepared for it in paradise." In another part of his discourse, the same rabbi distinguishes two Edens and two places of perdition. The Holy Blessed One not only created a paradise on earth and a Gehenna on earth, but a Garden of Eden above and a Gehenna above. He created a Garden of Eden on the earth below, as it is written, and the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, Genesis 2:8. He created also a Gehenna on the earth, as it is written, a land of darkness, as darkness itself, Job 10:22. In like manner, he created a Garden of Eden above, as it is written, "But the soul of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of life with the Lord thy God," 1 Samuel 25:29. And it is again written, "The spirit shall return unto God who gave it," Ecclesiastes 12:7. He created also the Gehenna above, as it is written, "And the soul nephesh animal soul of thine enemies, them shall be sling out, as out of the middle of a sling," 1 Samuel 25:29. In this exceedingly interesting passage, as need scarcely be observed, the citation from Job does not at all refer to any earthly Gehenna, nor does any such consequence as a superior place of perdition follow from the text in Samuel. The Zohar unfortunately abounds in this kind of unreason. The next point upon which we may seek information from the occult commentary is that of retributive justice in the world to come. Our Judah said, "The time of a man's departure from this life is the day of the great judgment, for then the Neshama separates from the body. But man does not depart from this world until he has beheld the Shekinah, Hence it is written, there shall no man see me and live. Exodus 23:20. 3 angels come with the Shekinah to receive the neshama of the righteous. Hence also it is written, and the Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, as he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. Genesis 18:1. That is the day of judgment, which burns even as an oven for the separation of the neshama from the body. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him, who searched the deeds which he has done, and through whom he confesses, yea, even with his mouth. When the neshama sees this, it parts from the body as far as the opening of the gullet, and there tarries until it has confessed all things whatsoever which the body has committed with her in this world. Then the neshama of the righteous man rejoices over her deeds. The higher soul is presented by the Kabbalists under a feminine aspect, and because she has been so faithfully preserved. R. Isaac adds, the soul of the just man longs for the hour when it shall depart from this vain world so as to rejoice in the world of the future. Setting aside such grotesque details as the pausing of the soul in the gullet and the mere confusion occasioned by the mention of an oral statement, what is described in the passage above is almost identical with the Catholic notion of the particular judgment. According to this, the Christian soul, whatever sentence is about to be pronounced upon it, sees Christ as the soul of the Jewish Kabbalist sees the glory of the presence. We find, therefore, that the Zohar at its best has no richer gift to offer us than a variation upon all that which the occultist has agreed to set aside as belonging to the letter and the convention. It is perhaps superfluous. As to the Kabbalist, it is certainly useless to point out that the apparition of the angels to Abraham in the plains of Mamre can by no natural process of exegesis bear the construction placed on it. It is understood, of course, that the Kabalah has no such processes. Having seen how the soul is judged, another quotation will afford us some vague notion of the future happiness of the righteous. R. Joseph said, at that time the just man shall attain full knowledge, namely, in the day when the Holy Blessed One shall rejoice over his works. The just shall know him in their hearts, and their understanding shall be as great as if they had seen him with the eyes. For it is written, and it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our God, Isaiah 25:9. The joy of the soul when dwelling in the body surpasses all, because they are both constant, knowing and comprehending their Creator, and rejoicing in the splendor of the Shekinah. This is what is meant by the good which is preserved for the just in the world to come. Hence it is written, these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son, Genesis 25:19. This refers to the neshama which deserves such joy and is perfect in her elevation. Abraham begat Isaac, that is, the soul brought forth this rejoicing and cheerfulness in the world. R. Yehuda said unto R. Cheah, this have we learned, that there is a feast which the Holy Blessed One will prepare for the righteous in the coming time. What is this feast? He answered him, when I came before those holy angels, even the lords of learning, I knew only this which ye have heard, but afterwards I received the explanation through our Eleazar, who said, the feast for the righteous in the coming time will be thus, as it is written, they saw God and did eat and drink, Exodus 24:11. Now these are the foods, even as we have been taught. And our Eleazar said again, we have learned in one place we have rejoiced, and in another we have been fed. What is the difference? Thus spake our Simeon ben Yochai, those of the just who deserve so much only, the same shall only rejoice in the reflection, because they cannot comprehend all, but the truly righteous shall be satiated till they attain the fullness of understanding. This therefore is to be understood by eating and drinking, and the same is the feast, and this also is the partaking thereof. Whence have we this from Moses? For it is written, and he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. Exodus 34:28. For what reason did he neither eat bread nor drink water? It was because he was fed by another feast, even the celestial splendor which is from above. And such shall be the feast of the just in the coming time. R. Judah said, the feast of the just in the coming time shall consist of rejoicing in his joy. For it is written, the humble shall hear and rejoice, Psalm 34:2. Thereupon R. Hannah said, all shall rejoice who trust in thee, eternally shall they sing. R. Isaac said, the one and the other shall be fulfilled in the time which is to come. Our Joseph said, "We have learned that wine which is guarded and kept in the grapes from the first 6 days signifies the ancient and mighty words which have not been revealed to man since the creation of the world, but they will be made known to the righteous in the time which is to come. And thus it is eating and drinking. Yea, surely this is so." It must be acknowledged that in this very interesting passage, the Zoharic doctrine is a great advance upon the monstrous allegory of the salted Leviathan in the Talmud, and yet the point reached with so much circumlocution in the rabbinical discourse is summed up in a single sentence by the Christian apostle, who says that it hath not entered into the heart of man to conceive what God hath prepared for those who love him. Nor is the mystical significance greater, though Isaac Meyer has increased it by pointing out that the term wine signifies Kabbalistically the mysterious vitality and spiritual energy of created things, an opinion based on its investigation by Notarikon, for wine equals 70 equals God or secret. As to the future condition of the wicked, the secret commentary gives the following statement by R. Samuel, speaking on the authority of R. Jacob. "The souls of the wicked are given into the hands of the angel Duma, the angel of silence, who, according to the Talmud, has charge of disembodied spirits, who conducts them to Gehenna for judgment. As to the duration of punishment, the opinions expressed in the Zohar are confused if not conflicting, but it does not seem to be everlasting." 2 other passages in the secret commentary refer to the resurrection of the dead. "R. Isaac spake and said, The mandrakes give forth a smell," Song of Solomon 7:13. Our rabbis have learned, in the time which is to come, the Holy Blessed One will quicken the dead and will awaken them from the dust, that they be no more an earthly habitation. Formerly they were created from the dust of the earth, which hath no permanence, as it is written, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground," Genesis 2:7. "But in that time they shall be sifted from the dust of that building, and shall stand a firm building, and the same shall be unto them a lasting habitation. Thus it is written, Shake thyself from the dust. Arise, O captive daughter of Zion," Isaiah 52:2. "They shall stand firm, they shall rise up from under the earth and receive their neshemoth in the land of Israel. For at that time the Holy Blessed One shall diffuse over them all kinds of odors from the Garden of Eden. As it is written, the mandrakes give forth a smell." Isaac added, "Do not call it mandrakes dudaim, but friendship dudim, meaning that body and soul are friends and companions to each other." Nachman said, "This word truly means dudaim, for the dudaim understood as the love apple bring forth love in the world." What does this mean? They give a pleasant smell. It describes the rectitude of their deeds through which their Creator becomes known and comprehended by their generation. "And at our gates are all manner of pleasant fruits, new and old," Song of Solomon 7:13. Our gates, that is, the gates of heaven, which are open and through which the neshemoth shall descend into the bodies. All manner of pleasant fruits, these are the neshemoth, new and old, that is, those whose souls have departed from them for many years, and those which have left them for a few days past, yet deserve, through the probity of their actions, to enter the world to come. Hence it seems to follow indubitably that the Kabbalistic world to come is the millennial earth of Christianity, and hence the destiny of the righteous is substantially identical in the Zohar and in the Apocalypse. The theory of the risen body in the secret commentary recalls also that which was much better expressed by St. Paul when he said, "It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body." The other passage is as follows. "While the neshama has its nourishment from the supernal splendor, the Holy Blessed One says to the angel Duma, Go and proclaim to that body that I am prepared to quicken it at the time when I shall raise up the just, in the age which is to come. But the body answers, Shall I have pleasure when I have decayed?" Referring to Genesis 18:12, where Sarah says, "After I have waxed old, shall I have pleasure? Even when I have decayed in the dust and have dwelt in the earth where worms and moles have eaten my flesh, shall it be possible for me to be renewed?" Then the Holy Blessed One says unto Neshama, "It is therefore written, And the Lord said unto Abraham, Is anything too hard for the Lord?" Genesis 18:13 and 24. "At a time which is known to me for raising the dead, I shall bring back to thee that body made wholly new, even as it was formerly, that it may be like unto the holy angels. And that day is set apart for me to rejoice with them. As it is written, "The glory of the Lord shall endure forever. The Lord shall rejoice in his works," Psalms 104:31. We see therefore that on the most important of all subjects, namely the destiny of the soul, the Kabbalah has nothing to offer us but that which Jew and Christian possess independently of any secret doctrine. We have not to consider here whether this common doctrine is insufficient, but to remember only that it is so held by occultists. That the risen body is transfigured we learn from the following passage, which is also a specimen of Kabbalistic angelology. When it is said, "his servant," Genesis 24:2, this means the servant of Elohim, the oldest servant of his house. Who is this? It is Metatron, who is appointed to glorify the body in the grave. Hence it is written, "And Abraham said unto his eldest servant," namely to Metatron, the eldest of his house, "For he is the first of the creatures of Elohim, governing all that belongs to him. The Holy Blessed One hath given him dominion over all his hosts." And we have learned, said our Simeon, that our Joseph said on the authority of Rab, that all the hosts of the servant take delight and felicity in the pureness of the soul. We have learned also that the light of the soul in the world to come is greater than the light of the throne, and that the soul takes the light from the throne. The last statement seems to mean that the glory of God is essential to the Godhead, but the soul must acquire her luster. We must leave these interesting fragments at this point. Much as we may despise the imbecile theory which would attribute them to the inventive genius of Moses de Leon, it seems quite clear that they afford no support to the occult estimate of the Zohar. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.